When dark clouds gather and the winds begin to scream, you can feel it. Chaos is near. Tornadoes and hurricanes, the raw, unstoppable rage of nature brought to life in shocking cinematic form. Today, we're heading right into the heart of the storm with 10 disaster films and series that deliver pure intensity. This isn't just about thrills. This is a test of survival. Brace yourself. The storm starts now. Twister. Get ready for a thrilling journey into the middle of a stormy inferno where adrenaline mixes with the thunder of lightning and every gust of wind can change everything. This is the story of a group of scientists who are not afraid to go straight into the eye of the cyclone to study the unstoppable force of nature. At stake is not just a scientific breakthrough, but their lives. Among them are Joe and Bill, former spouses whose passion for tracking tornadoes still unites them more strongly than the past divides them. With cameras, sensors, and mad determination, they set off in pursuit of one of the most destructive elements on Earth. If you think this is just a movie about weather, you're wrong. This is an intense, gripping tale of courage, loss, and the power of nature that knows no mercy. Into the storm. The sky darkens in the blink of an eye, and the silence is broken by a bang that heralds an impending nightmare. Into the storm, everything happens here and now, without warning, without mercy. It's a day that the residents of Silverton will remember forever, if they survive at all. As a powerful series of tornadoes begins to ravage the town, ordinary people, students, teachers, and daredevils with cameras become heroes not by choice, but by necessity. Every decision could be the last, and every second counts double. The film doesn't give you a moment's rest. The camera whirls along with the wind, and you feel as if you're fighting for survival alone in the middle of a cyclone. If you are looking for a film that holds you in suspense from the first minute and doesn't let go until the end, you just found it. Twisters. Get ready for a storm like cinema has never seen before. Twisters is a spiritual successor to the 1990s cult hit, but with new energy, bigger scale, and even crazier weather. This time it's all about a young storm specialist who doesn't just track tornadoes. She wants to understand them before they understand her, and destroy everything around them. Together with a group of enthusiasts, she sets out into the middle of the most unpredictable atmospheric phenomena, where every cloud can herald the end. The effects? Stunning. The pace? Relentless. And the tension? So thick you can almost feel it in the air. It's not just a disaster movie. It's an emotional roller coaster that will grab you like a gust from the most dangerous tornado. The Hurricane Heist. If you think you've seen it all in action cinema, this movie will prove you wrong. The Hurricane Heist is an explosive combination of the heist of the century and a devastating Category 5 hurricane. As a powerful storm heads toward the coast, a group of criminals plan a heist on the U.S. Treasury. Perfect chaos, perfect cover, perfect plan. But one thing they didn't anticipate, that a government agent and two brothers with a past that gives them more motivation than an entire army will stand in their way. Here, it's not just bullets that wheeze through the air, it's entire buildings that fly through the air. The storm rages, tensions rise, and every choice could be the last. This film is a pure, no-holds-barred ride in the very eye of the hurricane. 13 minutes. You don't always have time to get away. Sometimes you are left with only 13 minutes. 13 Minutes is a moving and gripping disaster drama in which one day changes everything. When a powerful tornado strikes a quiet American town, the residents have only a dozen minutes to find shelter and save their loved ones. At the center of the story are four families, different, divided, with their own problems, who, in the face of disaster, must unite to survive. It's not only a fight against the elements, but also against divisions, prejudices, and their own fear. The film surprises with its realism, emotion, and how it shows that in the face of death, every second counts. and every person. Category 6. Day of Destruction. When nature declares war, there's nowhere to hide. Category 6. Day of Destruction is a catastrophe on an unprecedented scale, a series of storms that combine into one giant monstrosity heading straight for Chicago. The city is plunged into darkness, technology fails, and the world watches in suspense as the power of wind and lightning razes the metropolis to the ground. At the center of this chaos are meteorologists, politicians, and ordinary people who are trying to warn the world and save what is still possible. But how do you prepare for something that no one has seen before? This is no ordinary weather movie. It is a warning that sometimes man's greatest enemy is not another man, but nature, which has been disregarded too many times. Earthstorm. When the Earth begins to revolt, no one is left indifferent. Earthstorm is a harrowing documentary series that shows nature at its most unforgiving. Earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, and volcanic eruptions strike with a force that cannot be predicted or stopped. Each episode is a separate disaster and a separate struggle for life, told by survivors, storm hunters, rescuers, and ordinary people faced with the unimaginable. Realistic footage and emotional testimonies make this series not only shocking, but also moving. For when the earth trembles and the sky crumbles, the only thing left is hope and courage. Hours. Everything happens over the course of one long and suspenseful night. Hours is an emotional drama set in the shadow of Hurricane Katrina, which ravages New Orleans. A father, whose newborn daughter is fighting for her life, is left in a deserted hospital, hooked up to a machine that requires constant power. The electricity disappears, and all he has is a hand crank and endless waking hours. With every minute, the stakes grow. It's not just a fight against the hurricane, but against helplessness, exhaustion, and loneliness. The film is moving to the core, showing how far a man can go to save what is most important to him. 5 days at Memorial. It started like any other storm, but quickly turned into a hell with no way out. 5 Days at Memorial is a harrowing miniseries based on true events that shows what happens when a hospital becomes a trap. After Hurricane Katrina hits, Memorial Medical Center staff and patients are cut off from the world, with no electricity, no water, and no help. For 5 days, they struggle not only against the elements, but also against their own consciences. Who to save first? When does medicine end and an ethical nightmare begin? This is a story about the limits of humanity, courage, and decisions that no one would want to make. Adrift. It started with a romantic trip across the ocean. Sunshine, blue water, and dreams of a life together at sea. But everything changed with one hurricane. Adrift is the true story of Tommy and Richard, two lovers who set sail from Tahiti to San Diego, unaware that they are approaching one of the most powerful elements the sea has seen. When their yacht is wrecked and Richard is severely injured, Tommy is left all alone, adrift on the ocean for over a month. With no contact with the world, limited supplies, and the knowledge that each day could be her last, she struggles against pain, fear, and loneliness. This is a story of superhuman strength, a love stronger than the elements, and a hope that does not sink even when everything else has long gone down the drain. You've made it through the list, but ask yourself, could you survive it in real life? If one of these titles shook you, or if we missed a stormy favorite, drop it in the comments below. Tap that subscribe button for more thrilling, pulse-pounding movie rankings. Thanks for being here, and just remember, when the storm hits, there's no safe place to run.